All right, 1 second. Sorry, guys. Like all this Zoom stuff going on, it's hard to see everything. Okay, we seeing my screen now?
Seeing it perfect.
Okay. So the thing that about pre-foreclosures is it's really learning about how to really help yourself and help your community, right? So the way that I look at it is it is okay for you to prosper when you're helping someone else prosper in their life. And guys, if you and this was, from June, but I'll go ahead and let you know, pre-foreclosures are not going away. They are up over 118% over last year, which is a staggering number. And if you want to be in this business, if you are already in this business, I want you to look at this a different way. So if our jobs as a real estate investor or the single family home space is to help people with their house problems, I feel that we absolutely have a duty to help people that are in this situation. So I'm going to go ahead and explain what a pre-foreclosure is, and then we're going to kind of get into some of the emotional sides of it. So a pre-foreclosure, it refers to the first stage of a legal proceeding that ultimately can conclude in a property being repossessed by a defaulted borrower. In pre-foreclosure, the lender files a notice of default and or a lis pendens on the property because the borrowing owner exceeds the contractual terms for delinquent payments. So essentially, when someone enters into a mortgage, they have an agreement that, hey, you lend me money for this property, right? And if you do not pay us, we have the ability to take the property back. So a pre-foreclosure is before an actual foreclosure happens. Now, the reason why you're able to know who is in pre-foreclosure or not is because a notice of default and or a lis pendens is public record. Okay, so when it becomes public record, we're all knowledgeable about when that happens. Now, we're going to break this down into two separate terms here. We've got judicial pre-foreclosures and non-judicial pre-foreclosures. This varies by the state. I'll have a slide in here soon that'll explain which states are which ones are judicial as opposed to which ones are non-judicial. The simplest terms, even though we're going to go through them, is the lender in a judicial system goes to court to get a judgment to foreclose on the house. And in non-judicial, they do not have to go to court to get a judgment for the house. Okay. So first, let's go over a judicial foreclosure. So the lender is going to generally serve at least 3 letters to the borrower about the borrower's non-payment at day 30, day 60, and day 90. So the first thing that happens is a lawsuit's filed by the lender in the court system and served to the borrower to officially start the pre-foreclosure process. The second thing that happens is the borrower has to respond to the foreclosure lawsuit before a court hearing date is set. The borrower can raise objections and delay the processes. So, what are some reasons why somebody can delay a pre foreclosure proceeding? Number one, if someone is in the active military and they are fighting for our country overseas, you cannot foreclose on their house, right? So they can go to a judge and say, listen, I've been in Iraq, I've been in so and so, wherever I've been, that you can get those foreclosures stopped there. Also, we don't have as much of this, but for those of you that remember 2008, 2009, there were some serious procedural issues and missteps by the lenders. If that happens, you can bring that up in court. Now, number three, if the borrower doesn't respond within a certain amount of days of when they've served the notice, which varies state by state, then the court will grant a default judgment, which allows the lender to move forward with the foreclosure. Then the foreclosure case is heard by a judge in the court, and either the lawsuit is dismissed or the judge orders the loan to be foreclosed and then setting a foreclosure auction sell date. So the seller is very, very aware that their homes are in pre-foreclosure because there's a court date that's set that they could literally go and object to before the actual auction happens. Number 5, the public foreclosure sell date is advertised. Number 6, at the auction, the property is sold to the highest bidder. Or if nobody bids, then the foreclosing lender takes the property back. Okay. Here's how the proceeds from the sale, how they're dispersed. Number 1, the mortgage holder will get their money first. Then any other liens that are on the property. Liens can be mechanics liens, even child support liens, right? Or maybe they didn't pay their water bill, things like that. Any leftover proceeds go to the former owner of the property. Now, David, I get a kick out of this because I can tell you not many people are getting their leftovers back after they've been foreclosed on.
What?
They are not. Every week, every month that goes by, what's happening is the bank is charging attorney's fees, late fees, and just ridiculous fees that if somebody has any equity, it's basically completely ate up during this process, which is a shame. Because as I'm going to explain, later, the problem there is that, a lot of these people that are in pre-foreclosure have so much equity in their home that you guys could be buying their home prior to them losing it back to the bank and put money in their pocket, right? We'll get into that in a little bit. Now, the 7th thing that happens is the borrower may exercise statutory redemption rights after the sale if they exist within that state. Like in the state of Michigan, you can go back after the auction and pay the fees and get your home back even after the foreclosure. Now, like in Georgia, once it's foreclosed on, it's gone. Okay. Then a certificate or sheriff's deed is given to the winning bidder after the state's statutory redemption period is over. That was judicial. Let's go over non-judicial. They're then going to serve out letters at 30, 60, and 90 days. The first thing that happens is a trustee files a notice of default with the county or the public recorder's office. Then a date for the trustee sale is set, and the length of time between the filing of the notice of default and the public trustee sale is going to vary depending on the state that you live in. And guys, all of these things can be found usually if you're just Googling them. Number 3, the trustee sale is advertised in public. The trustee sale takes place and the property is auctioned off to the highest bidder or taken back by the lender if the lender doesn't get outbid. Okay, so if you're noticing in a non-judicial pre-foreclosure, the lender gets to bid back on the property. So they're bidding against other people that are bidding so that they can raise their prices. Whereas in a judicial state, they are not bidding against other people. So I've always found that kind of, a little bit hilarious that they can bid against those owners. Now, number 5, a trustee deed is provided to the highest bidder after any statutory redemption right expires. I'm going to stay on this screen for a little bit, guys. If you will, pick out your state. Above are the judicial states. Below are the non-judicial. So the first thing I went over was judicial. The second was non-judicial. All right. Now, I want to get into the understanding the implications of being foreclosed. This is a very difficult time in somebody's life, and you need to understand how to talk to people, okay? And understand exactly what somebody's going through. I always tell people it's not about feeling sorry for somebody. Nobody wants them to feel sorry for them. But let me tell you, I do have a lot of empathy for people going through this situation. Empathy is much different than sympathy, okay? That is understanding what somebody's going through, right? And empathizing with their situation. So the first thing, if a foreclosure sale results in exceeds proceeds, the lender doesn't get to keep that money. The lender is entitled to an amount that's sufficient to pay off outstanding balance of loan plus costs associated with the foreclosure sale, but no more. As I mentioned to you guys before, let me go back. Oops. I don't know what I did here. I'm sorry, guys. Somehow I got to the very, very end of my presentation.
No worries, Julie. And the cool thing about it, Julie, is the little changes that happen throughout, depending on what state you're in, and the little tweaks. And it's funny how even in certain situations, the lenders can then come back and win the situation again. And so often when you look at these situations, the worst person to be is that homeowner. And so the most important thing to be when you're in the investor is somebody who can empathize with that homeowner and understand how tough the situation that they're going through really is.
Yep, absolutely. And really, like we were saying before, they're not walking away with all of these proceeds. You would be absolutely amazed at the amount of late fees and attorney's fees that get put on top of these people. The next thing is eviction from your home. Not only are you going to lose your home and any equity that you've established, but you're going to be evicted. There is nothing worse. I've literally been in an eviction before of somebody that was in foreclosure, and it was the worst thing to watch somebody's things thrown out in the yard like they were nothing. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to go through that. I watch their kids run out and grab their things while the sheriffs are there throwing everything in the yard. You don't want that for yourself, and I'd hope you wouldn't want that for anybody, right? I'm not going to wish that on my worst enemy. After the foreclosure, has anybody on this call ever heard someone said, just let the bank take it? Has anybody ever heard that?
Absolutely.
Let me tell you, when someone tells you that over the phone or in person, I don't care, just let the bank have it. If you still owe money on top of that mortgage, this thing is not over. You are now going to have a judgment on your persons, right? So you go to get a job, they pull your credit. All of this stuff is going to be seen so that it's not just pushed away and the bank can have it. If you still owe them money, you're going to have a judgment on you. Also, homeowners lose the down payment that they made at the time of purchase and the mortgage loan payments they've made during the ownership of their home. I don't care who you are. Most people on this call probably has bought a home at some time, right? It takes a lot to save up for your down payment, right? And to make those payments. So all of that is out the window. So now we're going to talk about buying properties through people in pre-foreclosure and really gaining an edge in understanding this because it does present multiple challenges. The number one thing is the homeowner and the emotions around it. Okay. So a lot of us take it nonchalant approach at calling sellers. When sellers are in pre-foreclosure, it's not just about the house. You got to remember that's their most valuable asset. If someone's in pre-foreclosure, it's not that just one day they're like, I can't afford to pay my bills anymore. Usually something terrible has happened, like a divorce or a death or a job loss. So when you're dealing with these homeowners, you've got to understand all of that emotion that comes with it. And you've got to have that empathetic spirit about yourself, right? Because from my experience, sellers tend to put their head in the sand. A lot of us do this. When something goes wrong, a lot of human nature does not lead us to just take problem head on. Some of us, right? What I've experienced is at the very, very beginning, they tend to put their head in the sand. Like, you know what, this problem's going to fix itself. I'm going to figure this out. I'm just going to put my head in the sand and I'm just going to keep moving forward. Your job, guys, is to pull people's head out of the sand and give them options. I give people options that are different than just buying the house. I truly do want to help people. I think if you do the right thing by people by providing solutions, you will win in the end. Because inevitably, most of all the people you try to help, it'll end up to where, and I'll explain those different scenarios. But when you apply those different scenarios, they either keep their house or they sell it to you, or you get some dang good referrals, right? And there's nothing better than referrals. So here's how you find properties that are being foreclosed on. Number one, in most states, the foreclosing lender generally is required to publish the legal foreclosure notices in the local circulated newspaper, or a phone call or visit to the county clerk's office will put you on the right path to finding the newspaper that has been approved for such notices. Online, in some counties, especially if you're in larger counties, you're just going to be able to go online and go to your county clerks online and find notice of default or list pendants records. You can also go to their office. You're there too. So generally, pre-foreclosures come out once a month. Okay, that's when all of those lawsuits are filed. Now, when I got started in this business, which was many, many years ago, you had to go to the courthouse, right? You had to look in the newspaper. There were not things like there are now. There are softwares out there now that literally pull this up for you. Have to leave your house. So when people tell me, Julie, I don't have time to do this business, to pull a pre-foreclosure list literally takes about 10 minutes at most. And that's if you're really, really going slow. It doesn't take 3 to 5 days anymore to gather all of your information. So if you were to go to dealdriven.com, you could look this up. They have individual prop searches. You can pull a list of all the pre-foreclosures in a certain area. Guys, here's a hint. I actually do not like doing a radius search. If you are pulling a list inside of Deal Driven, I actually suggest you pull it by county. Okay. Because if you do it by zip code with a radius search, your list will overlap. So for those of you, I saw a lot of people that were from Georgia, maybe even Atlanta. You might pick Fulton County, DeKalb County, and Gwinnett County and separate them into separate lists. Then you're going to pick pre-foreclosures in that area, and you can actually sort by equity. If you're doing a fix and flip or you're doing a wholesale deal in pre-foreclosure, the equity is the difference between what somebody owes in their mortgage and what the property is worth. Okay, so that's where your profit comes in. So if you're doing those strategies, they have to have equity. If you're doing strategies such as like a subject to, you might not need to pull with equity. But I don't care who you are, if you're doing creative financing or if you're doing flipping or wholesaling, I want equity in any property that I own personally. So, how are some other ways to reach them? Once you have that list, you're going to skip trace them. You can hire cold callers. You could send letters. You can send direct mail. You could do pay-per-click campaigns, Facebook ads, outdoor advertising, right? You can knock on the door. For me, would y'all like to know a really big bang for your buck that does not cost a lot of money?
Let's hear it.
I suggest, if you're not going to have just thousands and thousands of pre-foreclosures in your town, here is one way for you to do something very impactful. Is I want you to print a letter. Okay, you can literally go to Google and say pre-foreclosure letters for real estate investors. Pre-foreclosure letters for real estate investors. I want you to look at those letters and find something that matches your personality. Okay. Or maybe in the upcoming weeks, I'll actually show you how to use AI to develop the copy for your business. If we remind me of that, David, we should do that.
That would be a good one.
Yeah. Once you do that, now you're going to hate me for this, but I want you to handwrite the envelopes. And you're like, Julie, that's going to take me forever. I said it's going to be very, very impactful, but it's not going to cost you a lot of money. I want you to think about this, guys. When you're going through your mail, are you like me where you like literally stand by the trash can and you just like sit there and throw 90% of it away? If somebody handwrites an envelope, I guarantee you're going to open it. Because the first thing I think is, oh, was I invited to a baby shower or a wedding, or somebody sent me money, right? If somebody's writing me a letter with an envelope, I'm going to open it. Marketing is always about being seen, okay? Um, you may not agree with me here. If you have preteens, this is a great job for a preteen to do. They have decent enough handwriting, right? And I believe in children helping out their families. And when my daughter was of that age, she wrote these letters. You can even pay a little bit per letter, right? A quarter a piece. If you're doing handwritten envelopes and it's near a holiday like Christmas, go to the Dollar Tree. And by the way, Dollar Tree has a lot of good things for those of you that don't shop there, or a $1.25 tree, as they call it now. You can literally get envelopes of like Christmas green and red. So most people are going to open that. If you're doing it in the spring, it's usually people are thinking it's weddings or graduations. Okay. So just a hint there. A pre-foreclosure call. Haha, I think I figured this out. It's as simple as this. Okay. So it's going to go, hi, this is Julie. How are you doing today? Well, the reason I'm reaching out is because I received your name from a list that sort of leads me to believe that you need to sell your property. Normally they're going to say, well, what list are you talking about? Well, I did notice that your property is in pre-foreclosure status, and I specialize in helping people just like you avoid foreclosure by buying their home prior to them losing it back to the bank. And in a lot of cases, we're actually able to buy the property as well as put a little bit of money in your pocket so you're able to move on to the next stage of your life in a better position. So, can I come out there and meet with you, take a look at the property and see how I can best work with you on this? That is a simple call script for a pre-foreclosure. You'll notice my tonality was a little bit different there. Like if I'm calling a driving for dollars lead, it's, hey, John, it's Julie. How are you doing today? I'm not going to sound like that if I know somebody's in pre-foreclosure. You know what I mean? I want to have more of an empathetic tone. I also am not bold enough to come out and say, I noticed you're in pre-foreclosure. I want to build a relationship with somebody. So I'm going to lead them into something that gets them to tell me, like, well, the reason I'm reaching out is because I received your information from a list that sort of leads me to believe you need to sell your property. 9 times out of 10, they'll be like, what list are you talking about? Then they've asked you and now you can say that. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It helps put it in the right context for the right person. And again, kind of making it personable to their situation.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And I actually never call myself a real estate investor on any of these calls, right? Because I would rather propose myself as Julie from down the road that just so happens to buy properties. Because you got to remember, like probably all of you on this call know more about real estate investing than most all people. Okay. So there are negative connotations to the word real estate investor to a certain degree. Because if I'm a truck driver and I say, hey, I'm a real estate investor and I'll buy your house, what do you think the truck driver's going to think? The first thing they're going to think,
just trying to come in there and make some money off of them.
exactly. So even when I'm on the phone with people, I'm like, I want to help you out with what I've seen work for others in your situation, whether I buy the home or not. I consider it a win if we buy the home, and I consider it a win if they save their home. I do believe in life, the good you put out comes back to you tenfold. It's blessed like that. Now, Here are the options to avoid foreclosure, okay? Because you need to know this if you're going to tell people you're a problem solver. Number one, and this is the best one, is a loan modification. Have them call their mortgage company and ask for a loan mod. Well, they'll take what they owe, place it on the back side of that mortgage. The problem with a loan mod is like, let's say if somebody's lost their job and they can't show that that they can pay this, they're not going to get a loan mod. You could get a personal loan maybe to catch yourself up. You could refinance. Also in refinance, like that is good credit. So they're gonna have a hard time with that. They could rent it out. They could also list it with a real estate agent. Sometimes people don't have the time to list with a real estate agent, nor is their property in a condition where it's going to be showed all the time, right? People say to me all the time, Julie, why don't they just list the house? Not everybody wants random people walking through their home or the uncertainty of whether it's going to sell or not. Or this is the biggest one. A cash offer is generally the easiest one. Creative financing is another way. A deed in lieu, or, and this is very, very careful, if they file for bankruptcy, it will stop the proceedings of the foreclosure. Even if they file for bankruptcy and pull it out and not go through with bankruptcy, it'll at least stop the auction. You just need to know a lot about that before you advise people to do so. Another one is if somebody is upside down, a short sale is a good option. Like if they owe more money than the property is worth, a short sale is a great option as well. It is much better than a foreclosure. A foreclosure is on your credit report for 7 years. So it is going to haunt you for the next 7 years. A short sale is going to haunt you for probably about a year. You've got to kind of get things back going, but you can correct a short sale on your credit. Whereas a foreclosure, it's hard. So the three most commonly used ways to avoid foreclosure, I would say that I've seen, is a loan modification, a cash offer, or somebody filing for bankruptcy. Let's talk about the most common hardships that I've done. One is bank induced. One is life induced. Things happen to them that might happen to them that might make them, and I'll be quite honest, self-induced. I've met many, many people that got addicted to drugs and lost their sight on what was important in life, unfortunately, and lost their home. Right. And I've helped every type of these people. So it's good to know, what those struggles are. So my goal is really to get these banks off people's backs, right? To be that person that can help them during this situation. So I hope that helped you learn just a little bit more about pre-foreclosures. And really, guys, it's making it a win-win scenario for both the seller and for yourself. When it's a win-win, we all win, right? So it's, I truly believe if you want to be successful in this business, you've got to be in this for more than just about the money. Because if it's always just about the money, you might get a deal every once in a while, right? But you're not building a strong business that's going to last. You've got to have the right values. So that's why I like working pre-foreclosures, because I enjoy doing that. Like, yes, I am making money. I am profiting from it, but it really feels good, right, to help someone. One reason, and I'll let you know, one reason why I'm so empathetic is because this happened to me. This happened to me many years ago, and I didn't have somebody to come and explain things to me. I didn't have that person that helped me pull my head out of the sand. I didn't ask for help either because I was too prideful and I was too afraid. And so when I'm talking to a seller, I'm always being empathetic with them and letting them know, listen, you are not alone. You are not the only person going through this. So don't feel bad for yourself. This happens all the time. There are thousands upon thousands of people in America right now in pre foreclosure that do not deserve for it to be on their credit for 7 years and to walk away with no money after all their hard work. It is ridiculous. So if you ask me, this is something that everybody on this call can do. Everybody on this call can do this. With the technology the way that it is now, you can pull these lists. You can be there for these people. You can be there for yourself as well. Because let me tell you, you deserve it. I'm going to say it again, you deserve it. But that's my soapbox for tonight on pre-foreclosure. So I'm ready to answer any questions that you might have. I'm a little passionate about it because I've seen people lose their house, and I just hate to see it for no reason at all. And so, David, explain to individuals how they can ask questions on this call. And by the way, I'll let everybody know here, if you are not already a partner here at Partner Driven, what we do is we guide you and teach you these strategies on how to find real estate deals. Okay. Once you find them, we actually put up the money and split profits with you 50-50. Okay. We have several different ways to enter Partner Driven. So if you would like to schedule a call with us, we'll put that in the chat. And we'll do that a couple times tonight, but I'm literally going to go through the questions that you guys have because I want to make sure if you've got it, probably somebody else does too. So just raise your Zoom hand.
Absolutely. And Julie, we always appreciate getting some training, and it'll be certainly cool to kind of piggyback off of that, even to maybe even a deal-driven training and an AI training, and kind of really start to progress that into some kind of module for people in these Zoom calls. But everybody, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you have a reactions button. You can click that button and hit the raise hand feature so you can come on, ask Julie and I a question. We're happy to answer anything that you guys may have for us, whether it's about the training, about doing deals with Partner Driven, or whatever it may be. It looks like Bill Marie, you've got your hand up first. What can we help you with? What question do you have for us tonight?
So I actually have, hi Julie and David, I really
Good to see you again.
yeah, I really appreciate all the information, and that you understand the situation of everybody. I understand it too, and my heart breaks for them because they don't know what to do and nobody really wants to help them. So my two questions is, the equity, if there's a home that has equity, what happens to that equity in the foreclosure? Is that lost completely?
Okay, so not necessarily. If they have equity in the home and they get to the foreclosure, they actually have to pay them back. Okay. The difference.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you what really happens. If somebody's got equity, they put so much fees and attorney's fees in there, it eats every bit of that equity up. So nobody ever actually gets any money. Hardly ever.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen as much as 30,000 a month added in fees to somebody's. So they'll eat up every bit of it because they want to keep that money. Because now they have a house, right, that they have equity in now. So their bank is not in the business necessarily of keeping real estate. They don't want to do that.
No, and they don't care.
But when it's got a lot of equity, I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
They ain't gonna use it.
I get it. And the other question is, let's say someone is in pre-foreclosure and I go in and I purchase it. Is it advisable to try and keep them in the home? Like, may I purchase it and maybe either rent it to them if they can, or like try and work with them so that they don't end up, with basically nowhere to go, let's say?
As nice as I am, I'm going to be really mean right now. Never, ever, 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 ever let them stay in the house. You will never get paid
Okay. Okay.
because it's still a business decision. If they couldn't pay their mortgage, they're not going to pay you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And you buy it empty.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it. Thank you, Julie.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. Appreciate having you on again tonight, Ville-Marie. It was good to see you, and we appreciate the question. Lawrence, it looks like we got you up next.
Lawrence Eady?
Okay. Maybe we should go to Mrs. Bledsoe. You want to go next? She looks like she's ready to go.
So yeah, this is, where did you say we can get these lists? And what exactly did you say about the judicial states as far as the free foreclosures? Like I came across a man that was in he had a list pendants when I looked up his property address. But like, I want
And
to
that means he's in pre-foreclosure.
I want to say it was in because he owed taxes on it.
Well, that's another good lead source is tax delinquent properties too.
I wouldn't purchase that as well, but I'd have to skip trace that. I'd just be nervous as far as talking to these type of sellers over the phone. Because like he listed this particular one, I talked to him, he had listed with an agent like $800K, but the property was only worth like $463, you know, and he bought it back in February and now he's trying to sell it. I don't know if it's because of because of the list pendants or not, but like, I don't know how to approach him over the phone.
Yeah. So he seems like he is not like, he's listed it for 800. It's worth 400.
Yeah, like the ARV on the property was like 463 when I looked it up on a particular software.
I wouldn't call somebody that's listed it at 800,000.
Right, the agent listed it at 800,000,
and that the agent's not doing a justice to that person either. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not sure if they were a flipper or not. You know, purchasing them back in February, and they only owned it for like what 7 months. You know, maybe they did some work to it, and that's the reason as to why they're trying to get 8 out of it. But I don't know. They haven't been paying taxes on it. But like, where did you say that we can get these lists of pre-foreclosures?
Well, you want me to show you?
What was it, like dealdriven.com?
Yeah, I'm actually just going to do it because I think probably other people might want the same question. So you want me to show you how to pull list?
Yes, ma'am. That would be awesome.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go to Deal Driven. I've already signed into my account. I'm going to go to search for property leads nationwide using search filters. Okay. So I'm going to go here. Let's just do, I'm going to reset my thing here. I'm just going to do Atlanta. So I'm going to do Fulton County, Georgia. I'm going to go to lead types. Here are some different lead types. You can do adjustable rate mortgage, ones that have auctions, ones that are company owned, empty nesters, MLS active, sold, non-owner OC, pre-foreclosures, tax delinquents, vacant, window, but I'm going to go to pre-foreclosures. Notice on the right side here, because I've not done all my filters yet, there's 1,313 people in Fulton County that are in pre-foreclosure right now, which is basically the county in Atlanta. I'm going to go to property types, and I'm going to pick single-family homes, townhomes, condos, duplex, triplex, quads. Like you're not going to have a row house in Atlanta. That's going to be like Pennsylvania. I don't do commercial, so I'm not picking that. You could do a mobile home. I have no problem flipping mobile homes as long as they own the land underneath them. You can even go down to saying that you want the value to be, I don't know, between 200 and 400,000. You could keep doing these things here, right? So you could go like all types of property filters. Year built, lot size, owner filters, or the in-state or the out-of-state, foreclosure filters. You can see when it was, you could search from when it is to when that was actually done. We've added AI searches now. You could do bedroom, bathroom, condos. Bedroom, bath, maybe you only want 2 bedrooms, 3 bath condos. There are still, even with all these filters, there's still 668 of these. Yeah.
And then also, so I'm in Oklahoma. So what'd you say about the judicial states?
Let me pull up that side and see what Oklahoma is.
It said it can be
Can you still see my screen?
per request. Yeah, I can still see it.
Well, let me go to that little thing. It's got it on here because I don't remember.
You just passed it. Right there. Yep.
So it looks like Oklahoma is a judicial state. So the biggest difference in judicial versus non-judicial is the lender goes to court to get a judgment to foreclose on your home, and the lender does not have to go. Also, in a judicial, you're not bidding against the bank, whereas in non-judicial, you are bidding against the bank. So I think you're actually even in a better state.
Well, and Julie, you know what's so impressive to me about what you just did is it took you about 2 minutes to pull a list of 668 potential properties that were in a very specific window of what you're looking for that you could reach out to that have a reason to sell their property. Those are people that have a problem and are looking for a solution.
Yep.
At Partner Driven, we can help offer that solution and really help get those people out of those situations. And that's really cool, the amount of lives that really help with that.
That is a good way to pull it. Over the last couple of days, I've been so stressed out, calling the county clerk's office and getting transferred from this department to that department. Everybody acting like, I'm just pulling something out of my rear. Sorry, y'all. Don't nobody know. Everybody keep acting like they don't know what I'm talking about. We don't keep them.
It's public record. You can go on here for, I don't know how much Deal Driven is, maybe like 70-something bucks a month, and do this, and not just pre-foreclosures, vacant, non-owner op vacants. You can list stack. I mean, there's all kind of stuff that you can do with Deal Driven, and even competing websites like PropStream or Privy. They're all very similar, but it's a lot better than going to your county recorder's office for sure.
Just keep doing that. I started the 7-day free trial with Batch.
Yeah, but that's Batch is
And then it was another one called Deal Generator. They have an AI assistant built in. I'm doing a 7-day trial with them just to see.
Oh, let me share my screen again because you want the equity filter on here too. So under more filters, there's one that says equity. So equity is the difference between what somebody owes in their mortgage and what the property is worth. So you want anybody that has at least 35% equity or more. So there was, how many was there before? Let's see.
668.
668. There's 450 people in Atlanta from 200 to 400,000 that has at least a 2-bedroom, 3-bath house that has 35% equity or more.
That's incredible, Julie.
I mean, the opportunities are endless. I'm like, if I was working with her one-on-one, I kind of want to go and pull all the lists for you and put them there.
Well, and Julie, that's the really cool part, and that's part of...
That's what we do at Partner Driven.
That's part of the story of how Deal Driven even came about is all the hard work that you have to put through into going in these deals, and you've been there doing what Siobhan's tried to do and seen the headaches and then built something out that's so much easier to use. And it's just one of the many tools that our partners are working with. It gives them a leg up on the competition.
Yeah, because when I pulled the list off one of those softwares and I did the skip tracing or whatever, I did the reverse driving for dollars and just went and stuck sticky notes on people's their doors, and the guy called back.
That's good.
Because I'm kind of scared to call. Like I don't know how to hold a conversation.
Don't be afraid to call. Can we ask you this? What's the worst thing they can tell you?
Just no.
Is no. They're not messing with your kids. There's two things you don't mess with. You don't mess with my family, you don't mess with my money, right?
Right.
Anything other than that can be overcome. And I want to tell you this, you have a great personality. If you just get on that phone and just be yourself, people are going to love you.
Thank you.
I mean, that's it. Don't try to talk like somebody else. Just be you. People know the difference whenever you're trying to talk from a script. And like me, you can't talk like me. I've got a crazy accent. You know what I mean? But you be you, Siobhan, who really wants to help people, really wants to build something for herself and her family. It's okay to tell people that.
Yeah, and so often it's not so much the words that you say, but how you say them. And so it's just like anything, you know, at first you have that kind of fear, you're not sure what you're going to say, you're not super confident in yourself, but isn't that kind of always the case when you do new things in life, right? You go to the new restaurant, you're not sure how you're supposed to order, you go to your new job, you're not sure of the procedures, but after you get used to it, after you do it a couple times, you get really comfortable in having those conversations, and at the end of the day, when you're truly trying to help those people and it's coming from a good place, those conversations are received on the other end, and it makes it a lot easier.
I think it was worse when I was first trying to ride a bike and following getting those hurt with scrapes and things like that. I don't have to worry about, like, one lady did call me back, but she had already contacted a lawyer, and signed, like, I guess the loan modifications and things with the bank. She did have income or whatever, Social Security, because she was.
Well, good. Then she gets to save her house. That's good.
But we still built rapport. Like, she was really nice, you know, talking about kids. She was asking me about entrepreneurship, what I was doing, you know, things like that. It went really well, but that's about it.
I love it. You know who I see on here? Mara Brooks. Mara, are you still on? I see her typing. Unmute yourself.
Mara, are you still on? I see her typing. Unmute yourself.
I don't know.
Okay, yes, I'm here.
There she is.
So, Mara, I just want to, like, because I want to brag on her for a little bit. You've been doing this for a month, right?
On the 28th will be a month.
How many deals have you put together in a month?
3 of them we already got them listed. One of them was sold cash the other day, and the one that we listed yesterday, we already got a lot of people going out to see it. We had like 5 people already to go see it, and I'm talking to them too, along with the realtor. And we've got one, the realtor's over in Bunkton now, picking them up, and 2 of those are pre-foreclosures. I didn't know what I was doing. I tripped into it, but I thank God that I did it right. And we actually bought the house. It did not go. One of them was being threatened that it's going to go for auction on October the 1st. They called me up and they told me that the guy told me, he's like, Mara, they're gonna sell it on October 1st without to. I contacted Marina. She came in, she put a message in with the realtor team with all of us, and she said, this house has to sell before October the 1st. I jumped in on social media, shared the link over and over, and guess what? We got a cash deal the next morning. The very next morning, that house sold, and it was 2 weeks ahead of schedule, and the guy's happy. He's so happy, and Julie was telling us earlier about the fees that they stack on. In this situation, I found out that M&T Bank fought me to keep me from really being able to process this loan between them and the lawyer. They kept bouncing me back and forth between the 2 of them. or what have you. And at one point, I was like, it seems to me like they don't want us to buy this house. They really don't want us to buy it. They kept, making excuses. Then they came back and said, okay, well, the only way that we want to do this, you have to end up a closing contract. Well, guess what? We finished a closing contract already. And we get a lockbox on the door. So I'm like, okay, what happened? And they called back up. They was like, okay, we'll remove it. Like, why would you put a lockbox on the door when you just you know that there's a closing coming up? So there is some things that happen in the midst of dealing with a pre-foreclosure that we just have to have patience with, but it cannot stop the homeowner from selling their property. It can't stop it. There's nothing they can do about it. Or what have you. I noticed that Julie was talking about the having them to ask for, mitigation and different things like that. That is something that was never offered to this particular home buyer. This particular homeowner. He never had the opportunity to say this house. No one never told us anything to do in order to do it. I told it to him when I came on. I told it to him, and so on and so forth. He was like, it's too late. It's already too late. So I was like, okay, well, are you willing to allow myself and my partner to purchase it? A cash deal. Like, we get you out of it, considering that you're just in free foreclosure now. He was like, yes, that's what I want. That's what I want. I want to be done with it. I don't want to deal with it anymore. I've been so stressed out. We're going through a divorce. Kids, he's affected by this, and I want out of it. So I signed the contract. But I had the contract in the car printed anyway when I went. That's the thing I do. Before I go to the property, I've already requested the contract. When I talk to them and they act like they're okay with it, I take a chance on it. Because I feel like I have enough confidence in myself that I might be talking into it, but I just want them to feel comfortable with me.
I love her. And I did not bring her on purpose. By the way, I just saw that she was on. But that's what taking action looks like. You know what I mean? In your first month to put 3 deals under contract. The one that went under contract yesterday's got a $20,000 profit, don't it?
That's the one we're closing on. That's the foreclosure we just talked about. We're funding. We've already we got a closing funding date of October 4th. That was 20,000. The one that we listed this morning has 30,000 profit on it. As is, just like it is. And it is a mobile home.
Yeah, that's the one in Perry, right?
One of the ones that earlier touched on that too, because she said none of the previous real estate investors mentioned those steps to her, like being able to buy her home back, or the loan modification. Like nobody, they were just trying to give her a cash offer.
Right.
But that's pretty dope. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Julie said something else too. That I'm a real estate investor approach that fears involved sometimes. Some of them they shut you down. They don't want to talk anymore past that point. I don't even sell myself in that before. I go to them as a person who's seeking something that I want to either help you or either purchase your property one day. I pretty much don't never bring it up that I'm an actual investor. I kind of stay away from that.
I wish I was in your status because I've been a month just spinning my wheels.
Well, the biggest thing is self-confidence. Self-confidence. If you believe in yourself and you believe that when you jump on that phone and conversate with somebody, that it's going to be a positive spin to it, then you will come out of it. And even that property that Julie was talking about that we listed this morning, I actually had that girl is a Latino hot stopper. For real, like seriously, she wanted to negotiate all the way down to the line. We started out, I offered her 25. She said she wanted 100%. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna do 100%. It's hard. So she came back to me and she was like, 85. I said, I'll go 80, but that's about as far as I can go, or what have you. I can try that. I'll try that and see if it happens. If I can stay with it, I'll stay with it. But if I can't, then I'll just have to give back to life. But it was still dramatic, and she really didn't help. But she was acting like she did it. It was the aggression that she was coming at me with. But I didn't feed into the aggression. I left her alone, and then I checked on her and everything okay.
Right, because that's a lot of anger and grief built into that.
Yeah, she hurt me. going through something. So, yes, ma'am, the plant closed down in Cary, and she had to relocate to Oklahoma. And they renting out there in the hotel, and they need a place to live. And they own a home in Cary that's where she lives. So that's the stress that comes with it. I understand her stress because I lived there too, and that mill hurt my family too when it closed down. So I understood where she was coming from. So I let her vent. I let her, talk reckless a little bit out of her mouth because she wasn't disrespectful. She was just letting her emotions show. So I listened. I just listened. For 2 days I listened. And then at the end, she was okay yesterday. And then she didn't want to tell her mother-in-law to get out of the house for her. But by the time the end of the conversation came, I wanted that too. And we was able to get everybody moving and so that our realtors can do what they need to do.
Yeah, congratulations, Mara. Like, I'm like over here mucking her off. I could just walk away from all the nuggets she just shared with everybody tonight. And I'm real proud of you. A month into this business and working on your third deal, that's incredible. You're gonna see big things with you, and I'm excited. Hey, Peter said, you know what? I love that Mara girl on the deals call this morning, Mara. And I said, do not take her from me. She's my favorite, not yours.
Julie, he takes more than you, so you gotta tighten up.
Yeah, and Marina's like, oh, none of y'all can take her.
Well, Mara, you're just a pillar of what it takes, of the hard work, the coachability, the desire to make a change, is exactly what we're looking for in a partner. And 1 month into this, just absolutely crushing it. So we couldn't be prouder, we couldn't be happier for you. So that's absolutely awesome that you've done so well. Julie, if you're ready, we can move on to the next question.
You know me, I get too caught up.
No worries. Mara just dropped a bunch of good nuggets about her deals and stuff she's working on, so I'm sure that was no problem at all. It looks like we have Mr. Martin up next. If you want to come off mute. If not, we will move on to Gabriel. Go ahead, Gabriel. We can't hear you. You're not on mute, but it must be an audio problem.
David, we had some questions in the chat too, I think.
Do we? What questions do we have in the chat too, I think? Where you find these deals that cost so low? It depends on the area. It depends on the markets that you're in, right? And, the cool thing about Deal Driven and the marketing techniques that we use and teach within the partnership is we can help you identify and target those properties. And even finding that price point, like Julie was showing within Deal Driven, is a very quick, simple process. Even today, Julie, I personally went through and pulled 50 leads that I had a very specific buy box for, a $50,000 range of certain areas, and it's no problem at all. So it just depends on what you're looking for and what areas you're in. But there's a lot of them out there. And it's kind of about being able to find those right properties.
Yeah, and with us too, like at Partner Driven, we're here to do deals with people, right? We are not in this just to train, even though we provide training almost daily. We want to do deals, and I'm going to be selfish for a minute. I want more partners because when you do a deal, we make money. So it only behooves me to have partners like Mara who's doing well. Why would I not want her to succeed? Because if you're getting 50% of the profits, if we're getting 50% of the profits, I don't know. That's a win-win in my book. And y'all all know that I'm all about win-wins, whether that's for me and my family, because I've got goals the same as you guys have goals for your families, and together. So when they talk about, Partner Driven being a coaching program, 100% we're there to coach. But I'm 100% here to do deals with you. And 90% of my time is focused on deals.
And 90% of my time is
absolutely. And like we say so often, Julie, there's lots of good places to get things that we do. Julie.
Absolutely. There's lots of great training out there.
Yeah, but the reason we do all this and keep it in-house is so that it is in-house, right? You're getting trained by our coaches that are the same people that are going to be helping you through getting the deal under contract, the same people that are going to be helping you while we're closing on you, the same people that are going to be working with you while we rehab these properties. And so that entire process can stay in-house instead of having a bunch of spinning wheels out there for different things. And Julie, I know maybe you shouldn't do this, but I'm going to drop a 7-day free trial to Deal Driven in the chat.
Oh, absolutely.
Give it a try. You can kind of play around with it, see what we were messing with tonight, and kind of pull leads from your area and kind of start to get a feel for what's really out there. So there's lots of cool stuff in that. And give people a chance to really check it out.
You know, and I'm going to go out on a limb here. For those of you that's been on this call several times and have been unable to partner with us, we actually came out with a brand new program called Partner Driven Deal Scouts that will let you earn your way into being a partner. So don't be afraid to schedule a call right now. The reason we're going that far, even from Deal Scouts to our partners, is because, like, number one, did y'all notice the Feds just decreased the interest rate? Guys, that is huge. Like 0.5% you might think is not that big of a deal. That is a huge deal. You've got over here, you've got all these people in need, right, that need your help, that need to sell their house. The interest rate going down means there's a ton more buyers now. 0.5 percentage point is hundreds of dollars a month in a mortgage payment. That's the difference of somebody being approved for a mortgage or not. So you've got need, you've got supply, you've got demand. I always say don't wait till it's too late, but it's never too late in this business. The worst thing you can do, whether you do it with Partner Driven or not, right, is to just take what you've learned and take action. Right? Don't try to, overcomplicate things to a point to where you think you've got to know everything. Mara didn't know everything. She just went on faith that she could do it. Right? And action creates that. So I encourage all of you to go to that next level. You could do that with Deal Driven. If you really want to go to the next level, then let's go. Let's do some deals together. Go ahead and schedule that call now. And one of our awesome people like David or Roland, you'll be talking to. And even David and I, he works on our partner, with you guys partners. I talk about deals with David all the time. He's doing this business. Every one of our coaches is doing this business.
Absolutely, and that's the fun of it, Julie, right?
I'm David. I didn't want to do this in front of everybody, but where's that deal I told you to get under contract 3 days ago?
Actually going to be under contract here in about 30 minutes.
Okay.
We've got another one that should be under contract in the morning, so we should have 2 coming your way soon.
Okay, good. So you know me, I'm like, who tells you that deal? I'm like, when's it under contract?
Absolutely. And it's tons of fun, and it's a great environment because we're all in this together. We truly are helping our partners like Mara push and do more and succeed and achieve those things that they really want to. And the reasons that they get into this business in the first place. For the sake of time, Julie, let's go on to Lawrence's question if he's ready to ask it. If you want to come off mute, Lawrence, and ask your question.
You need to look at 14 days.
We can hear you. Lawrence, are you with us? There you are.
He said something about you need to pull the 14 days.
Hey, Lawrence, I think you're talking to somebody else.
Never knew that.
Okay. Maybe we should go on to Siobhan, get her another question in.
I was just gonna say that that's awesome, Julie, because I have been on here a few times. The last time I was on here was with the other guy, but with David. David was always on here and always texting me and emailing me, but like I haven't gotten a deal up under my belt, so I couldn't afford it. Like, I don't have the money. So, but I do think that is awesome. I'm glad.
David has something to add that's not 50% of the profits, but it'll get you started to where you can upgrade to that 50%. Like, I mean, I don't know your situation. I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe you should talk to David. David should call you again or whatever, because I just put that together.
Call again. So we can
Not a problem.
talk about it. I mean, because anything is helpful at this point, because I'm just like, it's either gotta work or it's gotta work.
It's like, gotta work, it gotta work.
Right. Like, David, do you remember my situation? I'm sure you should.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can definitely give you a call. We can talk that through. And that's the good thing about what we're doing, Julie, is we're always trying to evolve and do things better and help more people so that we can change our lives. So that we can take people that are in Javon's position and in a couple months put them where Mara's at. And there's no reason that you can't do that. Same with everybody else on this call, because we all started at some point in our investing career. And the good thing is, for our current investors that are on this call, it's all about scaling and growing, right? And having that infrastructure there to help you blow it out of the water and go from 5 deals a year to 15 to 20. It is another key aspect of this business, because Julie's favorite saying is, in order to make more money in real estate, you have to do more deals. And so what better way to do more deals?
And it's not about being greedy. It's about getting the education. You know what I'm saying? The hands-on experience so that you can learn.
Absolutely.
Sure, you got to make money at the same time, though.
Okay, that part too. That's the important part.
I'm like, let's just quit playing. We know both of those exist.
Right.
Absolutely. So I'll definitely give you a call, and we'll talk that through. Nicholas, what you got for us? You want to come off mute, Nicholas? We're ready for that question.
Can you hear me?
You can.
Okay, so I actually have a couple questions, if it's okay, but the first one is, I really like that you guys are doing that for the people that are weary, or they don't have the money, but they have the knowledge, or whatever it may be. I think that'll help a lot. But that's here nor there. If somebody has, like I spoke to you yesterday, if somebody has several deals that are ready to go and they are proven profitable from past experiences, will you guys take on those deals and cut in the, let's say, facilitator, for lack of better terms, on the profit?
Okay, so what I was referring to as a deal scout, the profit is less, but I only do deals with people that are partners. Otherwise, I would never, it costs to run a machine like we run, right? Like, I've got acquisitions people, closing people, and like, if I'm going to put my money up, I need somebody to put some money up too.
Right, but if I already have a deal that has, let's say, 40,000 in equity, and it's only,
I know, but it costs money to underwrite that deal.
100%, you're 100% correct.
So I'm just saying, there's a lot cheaper ways and different options now that exist for you to possibly do that.
Right. All right. Well, yeah. So.
But yeah, Nicholas, if you've got a deal like that, try to wholesale it and make a little bit of money.
That's what I currently do. I will wholesale them to different people, and I'm wholesaling them for, let's say, 90% under the equity rate. That was one of my questions. My second question would be, if we have a homeowner that is going to foreclose, or whatever the scenario may be, if we can get their 1.9 or 2 whatever percent interest rate, is that something that we can then turn over to somebody else and be more profitable, let's say for a rental company or something of that nature?
So we don't do creative financing at Partner Driven, but Nicholas, you can wholesale a creative financing deal though.
Yeah, correct.
We just, you know what I mean? I have to stay really focused on what we do, because if you try to catch all the fish in the sea, you know what I mean? I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to, stay on that. But I have no problem with creative financing. You're just always making more money up front with a fix and flip.
Right. Okay. And then my last question, because I'm sure that you have a lot, is, for instance, for me, I spoke to, I believe, David yesterday, and we spoke about how much money I have, this, that, the other. Not that I have a lot of money by any means, but that, my point is let's say that we're going to need 20,000 per flip, and I only have enough for 5 flips, and I have a lot that are ready. How can we get through that? If I get a couple rolling, are we still worried about it?
You meaning, will I do multiple deals with you at a time?
No, like let's say that I have only, let's say 100,000, and I'm gonna say that I'm gonna put aside 20,000 per deal. I don't know how much each deal is costing you guys. You know how much money you need up front for each one, how the financing goes, or anything like that. But let's say that
we just so you know, we finance all of the deal. You're never going to need money to finance anything.
Okay, so if I have a property that's 250,000 that we need to buy, I just need to sign up for the program, and I do not need to have any money whatsoever to make the deal happen.
Your credit, your money does not matter. The deal matters. And then we become partners, more so like we're the equity partner and you're the partner getting under contract. You see, we need you as much as you need us.
Right, and I understand that, but I guess my question is, I don't know how to.
I'm not going to come to you and ask you for down payment money, earnest money, power money, or loan money ever.
So all I have to do is sign up for the program, and then you guys will provide
Is be a
everything.
partner.
I just find the deal.
Yes, along with the closing team, along with an entire team to help underwrite the deal.
Right, now what about if I can bring money to the table and I don't want to sign up for the program? If I just want to, partner with you guys without paying to partner with you guys.
Okay, as much as I would like to tell you yes, okay, I have this thing called integrity. If somebody's already paid us to be a partner, I only partner with people that are partners, because it wouldn't be fair to my other partners for me to partner with other people. I'd be lying to all of them, and I'd
be against the business.
I know that's me.
I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, it just wouldn't be fair to my other great partners, because then I'd be a liar,
Right, yeah, no, I completely understand. And then how often is the renewal, or is it a one-time sign-up?
There are many types of options. That's something you would have to talk to David about. I mean, we've got options from one deal to unlimited deals, right? Because we try to make something so everybody can afford and aggress to.
Right.
That's our goal.
I guess the only, I'll talk to you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Nice to meet you, Nicholas.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Thank you very much. This was very good.
Thank you, Nicholas. We appreciate you hopping on and asking your questions. Thanks for joining us this evening. Ronald, we got you up next.
Yes. My question is, I live in Memphis, Tennessee, and everybody in their mother is buying property. How should I go about? Should I move? Should I go look into another area instead of Shelby County and DeSoto County?
No, Memphis is big enough for you too, Ronald. I assure you. I would even say Nashville. Yeah. I would even say Nashville is hotter than Memphis. I flipped houses in both. I've got 7 flips.
Well, Nashville is like 4 hours away.
What I'm saying
Nashville is 4 hours away.
Nashville is a more competitive market than Memphis. It is. And I'm literally doing deals in Mount Juliet, Lewisburg, like the surrounding. So even where you are in Memphis, you've got suburbs, you've got Memphis. I flipped you're not. There's plenty for you.
Germantown. You got Germantown, Collierville, Cordova. It's a bunch of different places that are in Shelby County but are outside of Memphis.
Well, exactly.
And those,
This time too, because you got to be careful with Memphis. There's some areas you don't want to flip houses in Memphis.
of course,
You got to
of
know.
course. You
Gotta
don't
know.
want to go to Orange. You don't want to go to Orange Mound.
No, no, but I wouldn't be worried about my competition. Let me tell you why. Nobody's ever going to replace you. That's what you got to think about when somebody asks me what I think about my competition. My competition is not me.
That's what you got to think about when somebody asks me what I think about my competition. My competition is not me.
Okay, so should I put down the street signs or just
when you're a partner, we
put
teach you how to do it. I mean, driving for dollars works good. Pulling leads and cold calling works good. Purchasing leads work good. I mean, there's so much to be done, right?
Well, see, I actually have a pressure washing business, so I get to actually get around to different people, to different locations, and I see a lot of places.
If you're already driving for dollars, just start writing those houses down that need work and start calling them.
Okay.
That's it. Or I know your truck has a magnet on it, or it's wrapped.
Yeah, it has a magnet.
Add another
This is
one.
my car, but my truck does.
Add another sign that says, "I don't just pressure wash, I buy houses too."
Okay. All right.
I'm not suggesting you write that, but I think it would be a cool sign.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
I might try that. And I'm gonna go ahead and partner with you guys. So
Okay.
I'll be pressing that button.
Yeah, just schedule a call and you'll talk to one of our representatives, and then because we got to make sure we're a good fit all the way around, because we can't like work with everybody, but you're in a good location. The last flip I did there was a $70,000 flip, and I did it in 3 weeks.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Okay. Not bad. And with the interest rates going down, it's going to be a whole lot more.
It's going to be a whole lot more. Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ronald. And that's kind of a micro sneak peek into the partnership, Julie, but developing and crafting that marketing strategy that works for not only your market, but what type of person you are, what you're trying to do, the things that you can take advantage of. We have partners that have small businesses, or even somebody who might do solar sales that's knocking on doors and kind of
Well, he's already out in the city all day long, going from house to house. He doesn't have to add anything to what he's already doing. He just has to open his eyes. That's it.
Absolutely.
And he obviously has no problem talking to people.
Exactly. Michael Lance, we got you up next.
All right, can you hear me?
Hey, Julie.
All right. Hey, Julie. Last time
can
we
you hear me?
spoke, we were talking about a bundle deal.
Hey, Julie. Last time we spoke, we were talking about a bundle
deal. It was a while back, but I'm just touching base with you to kind of update you.
It was a while back, but
I was working on that deal.
Touching base with you, kind of updating you.
Might be able to get that one cheap.
So I was working on that deal. It's still on the market, by the way. Might be able to get that one cheap.
The deal I got right now is a fix and flip. And it's in the same market.
The deal I got right now is a fix and flip.
Is it where your brother is in New Orleans?
And it's
he's still got some properties in New Orleans right now that he actually
still got some properties
he actually got a new place
in New Orleans right now. Since we talked last,
the duplex that he
got a new place.
The other one is called
new duplex. The duplex that he
there.
got, the other one,
he pretty much rented one side out. The other side's kind of
still there. He
maybe
fixed
getting
it.
rented out.
He pretty much
But they
rented
bought
one
a
side
new
out. The other
duplex,
side's kind of
not
still
downtown
maybe
New
getting
Orleans,
rented
kind of
out.
like in Lakeview.
But they bought a new duplex, not in downtown
and that
New
one's
Orleans,
doing all
but
right.
kind of like in Lakeview.
They're renting it out right now. We talked to an agent actually just today about reducing the rental.
Out right now. We talked to an agent actually just today about
we're going down to 2,300 as per this new agent we talked to.
Okay.
We're going down to 2,300
that's her recommendation
as per this new agent we got.
She's been doing this quite a while in that area,
and because that's her recommendation.
But that's
been
going on in New Orleans. This is actually a fix and flip in
but that's
New
going on in New
Hampshire,
Orleans.
the
This is
Boston
actually
market.
a fix and flip in in New Hampshire, the Boston
fix and
market.
flip project. It's a
Boston
little bit
Metro.
longer than like a 3 week. You said you made like
it's a fix and flip
40,
project.
30
It's
grand.
it's
in, like,
a little
3
bit
weeks
longer than
on a
like
fix and
a
flip
3
recently?
week. You said you made like
40 grand,
30 grand in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean,
like
I've got like 30 something
grand?
rehabs going right now.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I hear you. Well, so I
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
I
I
put
hear ya.
aside that 208
well,
unit, 36
So
building.
I kind of
Your recommendation was to
I put
get it
aside
under
that
contract,
208
wholesale
unit,
each
36
one,
building.
and I did
Your
like that
recommendation was
recommendation. I
to
actually talked to somebody
get it
about
under
that.
contract,
They liked
wholesale
it
each
too.
one, and I
the
did
issue
like
was
that
getting it under
recommendation. I talked to
contract.
somebody about that.
It's not
They
a
liked
small
it
deal.
too.
As I think you remember,
the
it was
issue
a
was getting
30,
under contract.
$30 million
It's not a
thing.
small deal. As
And
I think you remember,
were
it was
like,
a 30,
you're like, I'm getting a
$30
small
million
fund together.
thing.
But before I
And
do
you
that,
were like,
I was just
you're
gonna
like, I'm getting a small
fix
fund
and flip
together.
done here, and
But before I do
it's,
that,
so
I was just
it's
gonna
a
get
5-bedroom, 5-bath,
fix and flip done
3,000
here,
square foot house.
and
It was built in the
so
60s.
it's a
but
5-bedroom,
they
5-bath,
did add
3,000 square foot house. It was
Halfway
built
through
in
the
the
addition,
60s.
the man
but
working on it
they
actually fell
didn't
off
add
some
on in
scaffolding.
addition.
Unfortunately,
Halfway
a
through the
scaffolding
addition,
accident.
the man working on it
And
actually
then,
fell off of some
and
scaffolding.
then
Unfortunately,
he
a
now
scaffolding
is
accident.
selling it.
And then
I have an agreement to buy it from
he
him
now
for
is
$290.
selling it.
The ARV
I have an agreement to buy it from
well
him for
into.
$290.
We have comps
The
for
ARV
small places with less
is
bathrooms and
well
less bedrooms.
into
Selling for the
comps
7
for
to 800
small
range.
places with less bathrooms and less bedrooms.
So
selling
how
for
much
the
work
7
does it need?
to 800 range.
And so I had contractors walk
So-
the property. They gave me an estimate of 6 to 8 months.
And so I had contractors walk the
How much-
property.
how much
They
dollar
gave me an
amount?
estimate of 6 to 8 months.
So I have one
And-
estimate right now of 170.
So
and then
I
I
have
have
one
an
estimate
high
right
end
now
of the
of
budget at
170.
I would,
then I have
on
a
your
high
first
end
fix
of the
and flip, I
budget
would
at
stay away from
230.
that with a 10-foot pole.
You think it's
Seriously, you get into something like that that's 170, 200,
You
it'll
think
turn to
it's a little steep?
300 real quick. Like that's
Yeah.
not. You want to be looking for like middle class homes. The longer the renovation takes, the more it eats up in the profits.
Right.
You
No,
know,
I understand.
Ju-
Yep.
just kind of throwing it out there because like if you want to
No,
flip
I
houses,
understand.
we want to be
Yep.
in where the regular people live, that people buy houses every day. And to buy a house, I mean, just like for 400 to put 200 in it to get 7, it'll never. I mean, on a hard money loan, if you were to go get a loan on that, number one, you're going to have to put all the renovation up front out of pocket.
Yeah. I have somebody willing to do 20% down because it had to meet a
Yeah.
10% profit
I have somebody
margin,
willing to
which
do
is actually
20%
doing
I know they'll put
because
20% down,
it
but
had
you've
to
got
be
to
a
put the
10%
money for
profit
the
margin,
rehab
which
up
it's actually
first
doing
and
a
full draw.
27%.
You could
Yep.
be out 150,000 before you ever get your money back. Is
Yep.
all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah, I'm probably what's good advantage on this
Yeah.
is that the seller
No, I
agreed
get
to
it. Yeah, I'm
full
probably
paper.
well. What's good
on it.
advantage on this is
So
that
he's
the
got a
seller has
mortgage for
agreed to
165.
full paper.
We get a total
on
purchase
it.
of like 320.
So he's got a
gonna hold
mortgage
the
for
difference
165
between the mortgage.
We get a total purchase
and
of
the,
like
uh,
320.
You still got to
He's
come
gonna
out of
hold
pocket
the
for the
difference
rehab.
between the mortgage.
Yep. So if he
and the,
covers like 150 ish,
Yep. So if he
if he
covers
seller
like
finances that, that'll give us
150
we need like 50
ish.
for the
If he seller
20%.
finances
So we'll
that,
have like an
that'll
extra
give
like
us. We need like
100.
58.
But it is going to be a tight
for the
budget. I totally
20%.
agree.
So we'll have like
but
an
I do
extra
think
like
it's going to be well
100.
worth it.
But it is
But
going
it
to be a
does
tight
take
budget. I
6 to
totally
8 months,
agree.
you know?
But I do think it's
It's not
going
like
to
a
be
3 week
worth it.
flip.
And
But it
you're in
does take 6
Boston
to 8
and coming
months,
into the
you
winter.
know?
Just, I mean,
It's
I
not like a
want you to
3-week
do the
flip like
deal
you're
and be
talking.
successful. I'm just kind of giving you all the things.
Yep.
Because you're not going to
Yep.
be able to paint outside. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, so 6 to 8 months is flip it, and then it's going to
Yeah,
take
definitely.
30 days to market
Yeah,
it.
so 6 to
at
8 months,
least, right?
flip
So you're
it,
gonna list
and
it
then
30
it's going
days,
to take
and then
30
it's gonna
days
sit on
to
the
market it.
Maybe
At
this
least,
market actually
right?
does
So
pretty
you're going
quick.
to list it
Let's
for
call
30
it
days,
2
and then
weeks.
it's going to sit on the
All right,
market.
2 weeks at the
Maybe
800
this market
full
actually
retail.
does pretty quick. Let's call
So
it
we're
2
in
weeks.
at like the 9-month
All right,
range,
2
and then you
weeks
got
at
to
the
close
800
on
full
that,
retail.
and that's going to take another
So
30
we're
days.
in at
You know,
like the 9-month range,
so
and then you got to
it could
close
take,
on that,
10
and that's
to
going to take
11
another
months.
30 days. You know,
The worst case
so
scenario, even with
it
the
could
winter,
take 10
kind of
to
playing a
11
factor.
months.
You know,
Yeah.
The worst case scenario,
It
even with the
definitely-
winter, kind of playing a
Well,
factor.
good
Yeah.
luck.
You know?
Good luck to you on that
So-
deal. I wish you like all
So
the
yeah,
best.
we got that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We
Yep.
Yeah,
appreciate you
sounds
joining
like
us.
a good one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate it, Julie. Yeah,
you joining us
thanks a
again,
bunch.
Michael. Marcos, we got you up next as we're running against the clock for
And
time.
I kind of got that on autopilot. Okay.
Good evening. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Hey, Marcos.
Hello, Julie. Hello, David, and everyone. What do you have to do to earn your way into? I heard you say something about the scouts.
So we have something called Deal Scout. There still is money involved, but it's not the same as our partner program, right? To where you'll be able to come in at a much lesser amount of money and learn and build yourself up to become a partner.
Okay.
And really all you have to do is schedule a call and just mention Deal Scouts to them, and they'll bring it up. Because I'll tell you, I've never mentioned this program before. I probably wasn't even supposed to mention it today.
That's why I'm asking.
but you know what, though? I'm the boss, so I don't mind getting in trouble a little bit.
Right.
But it's worth asking about.
Okay. That's pretty much it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Marcos. Glad we could help you out. And again, if you haven't already, click the link down below in the chat. Have that conversation. I mean, let's see if the alignment's there, right, Julie? I mean, we're joining in a partnership, and the most important thing of a partnership is making sure that it makes sense to team up more so than anything first.
Yep.
And see what we can do. It looks like we got Nicholas and then Cedric to wrap us up. Nicholas, if you had one more question, we got time for you.
Yes, sir. It's just one more. If the owner has equity in their property and things just aren't working out for them, are we able to pay them something to get out of the property as well through your team? Is that something that we can do?
Yeah. So, like you're saying, like before we close.
No, it would definitely be after we close, obviously, or in contract.
Well, absolutely. Like, let's just pretend somebody owes $50,000, it's worth $100,000, right?
We can pay them 25.
And we pay it in. Well, it depends, but on the type of exit strategy. But absolutely, I mean, it's like I always say, it's about making it a win-win for everybody.
Right.
Anytime a seller can walk away with money, that's good for everybody.
Right.
Like I'm closing on one in Missouri on June Street where we're just paying him payoff. The deal is very, very tight, but I wanted to make it work for him because he moved.
Right.
So it's all about the numbers.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome.
All right, Cedric. I had to have met Cedric before. I don't know why he looks so familiar.
I don't either, but I am. I notice most people here of like east of Texas, and I'm on the left coast. So is this gonna?
I got a flip in San Capristo, California right now. I've got one in New Mexico.
Okay.
You know.
Well, I'm in LA.
Well, so then you know where San Juan Capristo is, right?
That's northeast of here. Like
I will be done with it in 3 days.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I also had one. Let me look it up real quick. I mean, I did over 150 deals in Modesto, Turlock area. I know that's.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, tons. Let me see where the other one, because I think this one's closer to you. I gotta remember the name of the city. I'm just pulling up my spreadsheet really quick. California. Laguna Woods.
Laguna, that's south of me, like a little bit past Seal Beach or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the condo place on the beach.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I know you hear a lot about the East Coast, but I do a lot on the West Coast too.
Okay. All right, cool. And one more thing, my man from Memphis, tell him. Well, I think he's off right now. But I was just gonna tell him that, hey, be careful when he mentioned Orange Mountain. That's where I grew up from. I'm from.
Was it? He was like, "Don't you be talking about Memphis like that."
Don't do that. Okay, so we're good. Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. Good to meet you, Cedric. All right, last call, Jason Mishler.
Yes, sir. Good to meet you, Cedric. All right, last call, Jason Mishler.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just real quick, a couple of differences between the kind of earn your way in and the partner-driven partnership. what are a couple of the differences between those two opportunities there?
David, you can take that, or tell them to schedule a call. I mean, there's quite a few differences. I mean, in all honesty, I'll tell you, like I manage renovations and do the deals. Like that is my mainstay at this company.
And that's the good thing, Julie, is everybody gets delegated the thing that they can be really good at.
Yeah.
And you definitely are kicking butt at the rehab. But yeah, essentially with the Deal Scout, we have different options. And essentially what we're doing is trying to help people with getting in the door. And so it's a way to get access to our team and our training and our education for the best possible way for people with financial constraints. Of course, using that as a gateway to become the partner is our ultimate goal there. But it helps a lot more people. The alignment was there, that the fit was there, they just needed an extra boost, help them get in the partnership. So that's certainly something that we can dive into and talk more about the specifics and the differences, and if that makes sense for you to go one way or the other with us. Is that something you'd like us to have us do, is reach out to you?
Oh, most definitely. And I also reside in Memphis, so after hearing
that is so funny.
Quickly here, I decided, well, it's time to take some action, and that's what I'm known for. So I'd like to dive more into a one-on-one with y'all and venture that way.
Absolutely. Well, I'll definitely have somebody reach out to you, Jason, so that we can have that conversation and talk about it. And you know, Julie, the thing that I picked up there at the end that he said that was probably the most important thing of all of that is that he said he's ready to take action.
Yeah.
More so what we're looking for. We're looking for people that are coachable and want to learn and grow, but we're looking for action takers more so than anything. People like Mara, people like Siobhan, she's on the call tonight as well, that are ready to take that step and go and start doing deals.
Yeah, you know, really, it all boils down to the fact that nothing in life worth having comes with zero effort. You know, and real estate investing is no different. It's a lot of hard work, but the rewards are greater than a lot of areas. But it's not easy. It's not something that's just going to come like that to you, right? It takes a lot of hard work and effort. It's just you just get paid a little bit more than other things.
Changing your life's never easy, no matter what aspect it is. So you might as well do something where the payoff makes sense.
Absolutely. Well, I really enjoyed seeing everybody tonight. I wish you all the best. I hope you learned a little bit about pre-foreclosures, at least something that you can dig your teeth into a little bit and maybe like create some action for yourself. And that's all we hope for tonight.
Absolutely. Julie, we always appreciate your time diving into some training. Everybody, if you haven't already, click the link. Feel free to schedule a call with us so we can continue to have that conversation. But until then, we hope you have a good evening, and we'll talk to you all very soon.
Bye.
Recording stopped.